Hey everyone, welcome in. So we're casting Leumas versus Junnie today for the Summit der Langrisser Special season. It's the round of 16. So we have Leumas as player 1, Junnie as player 2. Just a quick initial glance at boxes. See 1-2 tank for Leumas. 1-2 for Junnie as well. Yeah. So 2 tank on both sides. Hilda gets banned by Junnie. Rosin banned by Leumas. 1 tank ban has to pick the other one. Junnie still needs to pick a tank here. That's one of the weaknesses of the 2 tank box. So there should be, looking at healers on Junnie's side, there's the Leanna, the Rosin that got banned, and the Florin. There's not a 4th healer, so this is a riskier style. Because he has to pick a tank here, or else he can get his tanks banned out, but now he can get his healers banned out. So you have to be able to deal with a second ban Leanna Flow here. He does have T-Jess can provide healing, he has Deedwit can provide healing, he has Mariel can provide healing, so he should be okay. But it is something that's been kind of a theme. Yep, there's the double healer ban. So Junnie is going to have to rely on his off healers if he wants any healing at all. Bernhardt pick. Bernhardt does pretty well into Hilda. Can definitely shred through a good chunk of her. Sword Dance, always very nice as well. It's going to be Mariel. The Sword Dance isn't super relevant with such little healing on Junnie's side. The heal block doesn't really matter that much. We see double healer ban coming out from Junnie on the Flow and the Wheeler. That's actually a surprise that Leumas is running Wheeler. Wheeler, very unpopular this season, just because there's so much AoE going around that he really struggles to deal with, like, at all. Though Junnie's much heavier single target, that's why he banned the Hilda first. So I can see a Wheeler being very, very obnoxious to deal with if you're Junnie here. It will be the Leanna pick, just to secure healing. Leumas still has some pretty good DPS options left available, so it's not like he's losing too much picking a healer here. Away goes the T-Jess and Ares. Yep, those are probably the 2 most threatening. Aryan Road is going to be underwhelming without a buff, though there is a Gospel. Mariel's fine. Bozel, Zerida, all fine DPS picks. The Tree Sage is probably not helping too much in this game. There's not a lot that he really deals with. He deals with these 3. But I'd be a little surprised if Tree Sage got picked anytime soon. Away go the Assassins, and it will be a Mariel pick. Mariel. So the Mariel should be able to kill each other. Whoops. They should be able to kill each other. I doubt they can kill the Bernhardts, though. Maybe they can do it through Steel Mains. No, they'd have to bring Holy Troops to beat the Steel Mains, because Mariel's animation is very slow. So she'll hit after all the troop damage has happened. So I think, especially Leumas's Mariel, which won't have a buff, will very much struggle to get through a Bernhardt. We see a Deedwit pick by Junnie. He doesn't have a healer, so he's picking up a little bit more off healing. So I can respect that. Mariel's hard to use as an off healer, because as soon as she goes in, she can't heal anymore. Deedwit at least gives you some consistent healing throughout the game. Is going to be Aryan Road and Tree Sage left open. Leaves Ares and Werner, which means he's probably intending to pick Tree Sage. So he's leaving up the things that his Tree Sage just naturally counters. Which I can understand that pick. The Aryan Road's not really doing anything at all here. Tree Sage is much more useful, providing a faction buff for Jugler, and then dealing with these two units. And there he is. Actually, Tree Sage buffs. Is Lyanna? I can't remember if Lyanna is mythical. I don't think she is. What are her factions? Lyanna isn't. Yeah, I know Burn is. I know Burn's mythical. Lyanna is not. Okay. And it will be the Ares for Junnie. Ares is going to have a hard time getting in through the Tree Sage, but if Tree Sages bring faction buff, then it's not that hard. Yeah. The Tree Sage is very helpful as well, just, again, buffing the Jugler. Burn buffs himself, but Tree Sage can at least give Burn turns where he doesn't need to buff himself, though he wants to get all the special effects, so he's going to do it anyways. Burn's never going to let his buff go down. We could see a Gospel on this Lyanna. It'd be to block heal block on Jugler if there's no Blood Pact, or for the Mariel. Gospel on Mariel's a little bit hard to use, just because she takes so many turns in a row. You still tend to run out of buff very quickly. So I don't know how effective that will be. Because you have to have a plushie on your Lyanna, and then you have to Gospel immediately before engaging to actually keep the buffs throughout your engage. Team comp wise, I think I like Leumas' side a little bit more here. I think he has just enough damage to punish the low healing that Junnie has available. I don't think Junnie has as clean of a way to get through this Jugler with just the Ares. Well, especially if it's AoE Ares. Actually, it's Lancers on the Mariel, so she's actually very, very bad into the Highlands Mariel on Junnie's side. Should be okay into the Deedwit, because your Lancers should be hitting the Unicorns before Mariel hits. Not very good into the Bernhardt, though. So really all this Mariel can do for Leumas is knock down maybe the Deedwit or the Ares. She should be able to get the Deedwit. Tenyo Breeze on the Hilda, not exactly useful. That's a Boots Bernhardt. Is it Boots on the other side? It sure is. So you see a plushie Deedwit from Junnie. We'll see if it's a plushie Lyanna on Leumas' side. I imagine it is, because it usually is, especially at this level. This Ares is just... Not only is this Ares completely walled by the Jugler, can't get in because of the Tree Sage, and even if he does get in, he doesn't actually do anything here. This Ares is just gonna have a bad day. Single target probably would have been a better choice on this Ares, just because AoE doesn't kill a single person here. AoE Ares doesn't kill anything. Even with Bernhardt here to provide an initial AoE, you're still just, Bernhardt will do his AoE, and then maybe Ares can make something happen after that. I don't know. Hilda gonna transform Cav to deal with the Bernhardt. So I imagine that is why there's Amazons on this Mariel, is because he knew this Hilda was gonna go Cav. But I feel like Mariel shouldn't be hitting the Hilda. Leumas doesn't need to care about this Hilda. All his units are here to do AoEs. So you can just use Mariel to pick off one of these sources of healing. And I think Amazons are not the right choice for doing that. Though I don't know what else you would bring if you wanted to kill Deedlit. I guess Amazons are really your only choice for killing Deedlit, because you could bring Redeemers, but... bleh. So Johnny's in a good spot to make something happen with this Bernhardt next turn. Open up with the Swords Dance. He is vulnerable to a Swords Dance himself, though, so we'll see if Leumas wants to do that. He can potentially Swords Dance from guard, which isn't terrible. Though Deedwit will come in. Deedwit should be able to kill Steelmanes. Steelmanes are not very good against magic. Oh. So I imagine Junnie wants to leave this Deedwit up just to make sure if Bernhardt comes in, he gets punished for it. Gospel has not been used by this Leanna, so There is the potential to heal block everyone at the start of the next turn. Actually, Deedlit can reach this Bernhardt right now if he really wants to. He would be trading away his primary source of healing, so it's probably not a great exchange. Oh, Bernhardt just backs off, though. Ooh, Deedlit's going in. Where are you going, Deed? Just for the Jugler. No. Alright. Well, that was an attack. Worth noting, because he gave himself King's Crown with his Ares, he did not get Sea of Miracles damage up, because when he used Sea of Miracles, it saw a higher quality buff, so it did not overwrite. So he ended up just losing any form of damage up at all. It would not have made a difference here, having that extra 15%. But it would have resulted in a little bit more damage sticking to this Jugler. Maybe, you know, an extra 10, 20%. Deedlit is very dead for this. Yep, basic attack first, because you don't want to push her back into guard. And then skill comes out, and does not kill, actually. Tenuous Breeze on the Bernhardt will finish it off, though. So it actually does fail to kill the Deedlit. Somehow. I guess buffless Mariel. There isn't a lot of healing for Junnie to really do anything about his Deedlit staying alive, though. Right, Deedlit herself can move and heal 20%. No, she actually will... There it is, yeah. Heal 30%. You can move the Mariel a couple times to heal Deedlit up. Mariel could do a pretty good job of healing Deedlit. If you move Mariel and then Prayer, you get 2 heals at 1500 attack. With Commandment extra healing, that should be, what, 4500? That should be enough to keep your Deedlit alive against the burn. Oh, nope. Burn's coming in first. Bonk the entire team. Everyone's heal blocked. Ooh, it's a blood sword on the burn. It's actually not BB. That's actually pretty unusual. Goodbye, Deedlit. Now this Ares can't get into follow-up, though, so all these heal blocks are going to fade at the end of the turn, and then Leanna's going to heal everyone back up. Yep, Mariel's just out of range as well. So this should just be a free Bernhardt for Leumas. Though he can't really safely attack it at any point right now. You can sword dance it. Knock it down a bit. It's double blood sword. Neither Bernhardt is on BB. They're both blood sword. So he can't safely kill this Bernhardt yet, but he can just, in turn with his Jugler, heal his Jugler and his Bernhardt, and then he'll be fine. The Bernhardt's not going to really do much at this point. Bernhardt can, basic attack the Jugler, who's going to be at full health with Steel Mains, so that's not going to go anywhere. So I think it's going to be pretty hard for Leumas to lose from here. Ares should be able to pick up these two. Ooh, Ares is going to lose attack buff, though, when he engages. 3C does not overwrite faction buff attack. So if this Ares goes in next turn, he actually loses his buff. So he's going to have no buff in Burn Aura, and he's going to do very, very little damage. It should still be enough to kill, like, the Mariel, but it'll probably miss the Lyanna, just because it's so... His attack's going to drop so low. That's a jump. That's not where I expected that to go. I guess it puts the burn really low. Is he just going to kill the burn with his Lyanna? Is that possible? No way, right? No way that's enough. I guess he just wants to put Lyanna here. Force Ares to come to this tile to AoE, which he can't do very effectively. Or maybe at all. Now Ares can get to here. He only gets to move 3 tiles getting there, but he can get to here in AoE. Ah, that's how he kills the burn. Goodbye, Bernhardt. Yep, and Tree Sage gets a little extra healing on the Mariel, and I think that means that this Ares is just going to completely fail if he goes in. Here he goes. Goodbye attack buff. I hate that interaction. Yeah, he misses the Lyanna because of it. And now Jugler heals everyone back up. 1444 attack from an AoE Ares. Just not going to do anything at all. And that will be game 1 to Leumas. Oh, right, I have to leave. Alright. So we'll go to game 2, see if anyone switches up boxes. Yeah, Junnie really just didn't have a way to break into Leumas's team. His Deedwit was on Unicorns, and then he had Ares. So once Tree Sage 3C went down, his positioning got really, really bad. So he tried to bring Deedwit in before that happened, but he ended up just, tickling a Jugler and then dying. Ares couldn't do anything because, again, the Tree Sage just completely shut him out of the game. Alright, we see a Zerida and a Kruger come in place of Illustrial and Werner, who are both pretty bad on this map. Kruger's pretty good here. Zerida is okay. We see Leumas bring in a Rosin in favor of his Wheeler. So actually, Leumas does a pretty good job of catching the switch to AoE here. Build a ban again. Leumas actually goes for a first pick healer. We'll see if, or excuse me, Junnie goes for a first pick healer. We'll see if that means that he loses both his tanks. Because that is the risk that he's having to deal with right now. And he does lose both. Yeah, so this pick ban is why 2 tank 4 healer and 3 tank 3 healer have been significantly more popular. Because Rosin gets banned first almost every game, and a 2 tank 3 healer box cannot deal with a Rosin first ban. They always lose something for it. It's very, very hard for them. So you do have Bernhardt, Bernhardt can function as a tank, but only against physical. There is no Deedwit. Huh, there's no Deedwit. There's not a lot of magic damage on Leumas' side. With the TJFs gone, just a tank Bernhardt could get the job done. Or you could just go all in on tankless. You know, bring AoE here, bring AoE here, bring AoE here. Though AoE into Jugler is always questionable. It will be an Ares pick for Leumas. I don't know if that's going to cut it. Ares tends to miss a lot of kills when Bernhardt's around. Even as squishy as Flo is, she's going to have a defense buff, and then if she's positioned so that she can be in burn aura, Ares is going to have a rough time actually getting that kill. Sarah to Rosin are the bans, and in comes the Kruger. So it does look like Junnie wants to go AoE. Right, maybe looking for Sword Dance Bernhardt to heal block the team to open up his AoEs. It's going to be Leanna pick from Leumas. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Himiko from Junnie with the way that he's been picking so far. Bans out the Tree Sage. I guess that does free up Kruger to run Sorks and fly across the middle. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see this Ares go single target instead of AoE. And then that can really... If this team does go tankless, single target Ares can really keep it in check. It's going to have a hard time getting in. Though Leumas might just want to go AoE since the entire rest of his comp, the entire rest of the units that he have available are all AoE units. You see the Zerida get picked by Junnie. I don't know about that one. What does Zerida accomplish here? I don't really feel comfortable with this pick. Goodbye, Himiko. TJS could be very useful here. I'd imagine that's what he'd want over the Mariel. Just for the utility of teleport. Bozel pick from Leumas. I mean, Bozel's relatively easy to assassinate with Zerida. The Ares is going to give you trouble. But you can definitely pick the Bozel. Should be able to pick either of these. There's the TJS. If you can get to the Leanna, you can kill her, and that would be very helpful for Junnie. But this map is really, really hard to actually get around with assassins, since it's so easy to put 2 units on the bridge and wall it off. And then, you know, your Leanna is hiding 2 tiles back from that. And the Zerida just starts getting completely zoned out at that point. So I don't think Zerida's going to find an opportunity to kill the Leanna. I think it's far more likely that she hits Bozo or Mariel. But she has to figure out a way to get around this Ares, which is definitely not free. All right, we see Amazons on the flow. That's not going to keep you alive from anything. Demon Zerida, actually. No attack up, so it's Stinger, but it's not Twilight Star. So I don't actually know what the accessory is on the Zerida here. There's the Kruger debuff onto the Leanna, an immediate breeze from that Kruger, very nice. Swordsmith on the Bozel, that's not a surprise. Ares is single target, though he did bring angels to try and protect himself from T-Jess. He can potentially do it if he's sitting on one of these defense tiles. That could be enough, but otherwise Ares will still die. We do see Sword Dance, so there is no tank at all for Junnie's side. So this single target Ares can basically just pick off whatever he wants. So you have Ares can pick off whatever he wants, Mariel can pick off whatever she wants, maybe 2 if she's able to hit like the T-Jess or honestly the Flow since she brought Amazons. That is a lot of int on that Bozel. I guess I should say that is a lot of magic defense on that Bozel. Good lord. There's the Gospel on the Mariel. It is a plushie on this Leanna. But again, Mariel burns through buffs so quickly. If this Mariel doesn't go in next turn, then on her last hit, she just doesn't have a buff. T-Jess strengthens herself just to stack up. Ooh, that's a nice breeze. Yeah, that's a very nice tenuous breeze. So that lets this Zerida do a little bit of positioning where the Ares can't really stop her anymore. That's very helpful. Is Ares in range of anything from there? Yes. So Ares has an attack on both of these. Flo needs to move or she is absolutely dead. Bernhardt with Steel Mains, though, should survive this Ares. Especially with Angels over Steel Wings. I don't think Ares can kill this Burn. 870 defense. There should be no way that this Bernhardt goes down. Bernhardt's just going to move to block. So yeah, Ares can come in for the Bernhardt if he really wants to, but that isn't happening. Kruger's available to hit the entire team if he wants to, but I don't know why he would right now because he just healed them all with Jugler. This Bernhardt really needs to go in first. This is the same issue that Junnie had last time, where this Bernhardt has to be the first one to engage to get heal blocks in order to stop this Jugler from just beating him. But if Bernhardt can't get in cleanly, then he's just kind of... Junnie's just kind of dead in the water until this Bernhardt finds a way in. And we know that this is Blood Sword over BB on the Bernhardt, which means that he's going to have an even harder time getting in and finding a good sword dance. Because he really needs to catch basically all these DPS in his sword dance. Get heal blocks on all of them, and then get Kruger to engage. That's going to be very difficult to do. TJS teleport does help that a lot, with letting this Bernhardt reposition quickly. I imagine this Kruger is 6. Oh, the Kruger's only 5-star as well. That's actually that's a pretty big drop in damage between 5 and 6-star on Kruger. So that's going to also be a little bit awkward. Bozo wants nothing to do with the Zerida, and it's just going to completely peace out. TJS teleport, though, does mean that this Zerida can... She's going to find a pick somehow. You can get teleported somewhere where she can find a pick. There's not really anything that Junnie can do about that. So someone has to get given up. Actually, that looks like... Yeah, that's Ares getting given up. Or Ares getting act again. That's far more likely. So Ares can't actually hit anything off of an act again. All he has to do is move the Kruger, and Ares can't hit anything. So I think this Ares is just dead for free. Especially if Junnie acts again now. Mariel will come in and kill him for it. So it's a question of, does Junnie want this trade for Ares or not? Does he want the Ares, or would he rather pick off this Mariel or Bozal? Rush on the TJS. Ooh, that's a Tenuous Breeze on the Bernhardt again. Yeah, I think the Ares is not really what he wants to pick. I think he'd rather have something else. I don't think he actually wants the Bozal most, though. I think he wants this Mariel the most. Alright, Kruger is forced to move from this act again. But all he has to do is just back off, and the Ares can't do anything. Is he considering going in with the Kruger? I don't know why you would. It would just be a dead Kruger. Okay, it's a dead Kruger. I don't really get what this accomplishes. Like, you dunk the entire team, and then they all get healed back. You did get a heal block over here, I guess. And then you're just dead. Even with an unbuffable here, the Mariel kills you. Alright, Ares doesn't have to be the one to kill you. There's an Ares and a Mariel available. This Kruger is very, very, very dead. And he did get some nice debuffs, sure. Unbuffable here really hurts Ares' potential. Heal block on the Bozal is also obnoxious. Heal block on Jugler, mobility down on Jugler. That's not a good 3C because you're unbuffable. Whoops. And you can't get sweep formation because you're unbuffable, which means that you can't move again after 3C. And you don't kill because you don't have an attack buff. And he had a bunch of damage downs. And now he unit blocked himself so the Kruger doesn't die. Alright, well, that happened. Huh. Well, I guess that Kruger engage was actually pretty okay then. Yikes. Alright, Kruger gets another AoE. There's not a superb direction to throw it. You can throw Dark Dragon's Breath this way, hit 1, 2, 3 here. You can come here, throw Dark Dragon's Breath, hit 1, 2, 3 like that. Neither of which is super relevant. Alright, the Mariel's still immune. The Jugler's still going to heal people. You come up here, then you're not hitting the Bozal. I mean, this Kruger wants to do something right now. Because he's just dead. Yeah, even with that kind of pretty big misplay by Leumas, the Kruger's still dead. He gets another AoE, sure, but it's not going to be, it's not going to kill your team. There is a breeze on the Bernhardt. Oh, that's right, Kruger can run up here. That's not terrible. So there is a breeze on the Bernhardt, so Bernhardt can reach, but he can't reach this Leanna Bozal. He's not going to kill any of these units. He's not going to heal block the Mariel. And the Ares isn't really that relevant. Actually, the Ares isn't relevant at all because he clicked 3C already. Alright, Kruger's dead for real this time. So yeah, I mean, that was basically, even with Leumas responding to the Kruger in the worst way possible, it was still a Kruger for free. It was still a free Kruger. He got absolutely nothing out of it. There's the sword dance. Doesn't quite kill the Ares. Nope, nope. Bloodthirsty triggers, kills the Ares. But again, who cares about killing the Ares? This is a unit that you wanted to kill. This is a unit that you wanted to kill. Jugler, kind of, I guess. He is able to TP his Jess in now. So that's definitely relevant. So he could potentially get a nice pick here. Like, Mariel can move before that. So the Mariel can hit the Bernhardt, the Mariel can just run away. Jugor jump. So if T-Jess comes in, all she's doing is killing the Jugor now. Ah, this Mariel's dead to Zerida, though. No, she's not. It's Demon Zerida. Why is it Demon Zerida? If this was Assassin Zerida, he would kill this Mariel here, and he would be winning this game at this point. He's going to try for it. It is enough. It is just barely enough. I think Junnie wins from here. I think that jump was the wrong response. Because now you have T-Jess come in. That did a lot. So, no heal block. So Flo can heal this Bernhardt enough that he doesn't get easily killed. T-Jess jumps in, kills the Jugor from this much health. Zerida resets, kills the Bozil. That's the end of the game. Yep. So I think what Leumas needed to do there was do something with the Mariel. The Mariel either needed to move back or move in and hit the Bernhardt, but that Mariel had to do something. Mariel just sitting there got her killed. And with Ares gone, that Mariel was really his only... That Mariel was his best response to the things that Junnie's doing. So he couldn't afford to lose it for free there. Because he can't kill anything on the map anymore. This is very much GG. Sleep the Bernhardt, sure, whatever. Still no clocks. Yep, T just blocks out the Leanna, and there we go. Alright, that was a weird one. That was a very weird one. But we will have a game 3 as a result. Whoops. Where'd he go? There he is. I felt like Leumas still had, even after losing his Ares, I feel like Leumas still had the tools to win that game. I don't know how well Mariel does into Bernhardt for certain, but I feel like double hitting the Bernhardt, you're still going to kill him there. And then that shuts down the Jessica teleport. You lose your Mariel for it, almost certainly. Yeah, you lose your Mariel to the Zerida still. Though maybe not, because you'd be pretty much full health. You should be full health off of attacking into the Bernhardt at that point. And then Demon Zerida probably doesn't kill you. Alrighty. Out goes the Zerda, in comes Illustrial. Much better on this map. We see Wheeler come back in and a Yulia show up for Leumas. I don't know about that Yulia. So far, every game, Junnie's thrown AoE at you. Especially Bernhardt AoE is something that Yulia is really going to struggle to deal with. So I feel like this Yulia might not be able to do the things that she wants to do. I think she might have a hard time. Leanna first ban. No more Actigans. Except there's still a Flo. So it will be Flo first pick for Junnie again. We'll see if he loses both his tanks for doing it. I would love to see an Elwyn in Leumas's box. If you think your opponent's going to go tankless like this, Elwyn is a great unit to punish that. But he's not double banning tanks. He's actually banning the Bernhardt this time. So we will not see our third Bernhardt game in a row from Junnie. Which also means no heal blocks on the Yulia. You'd have to get lucky with a Kruger. Leumas going to get a flow of his own, so he still has Actigans. Bernhardt Hilda ban, though, means no stacks for flow. Do we see a Juglar pick here? Wouldn't be surprised by second pick Juglar on both sides. There's one. Who does Leumas ban here? If you want to make the Yulia work, then Kruger's the correct ban. It's going to be Elwyn T-Jess, though. Both things that threaten Juglar, so... he's just keeping his dog safe for now. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Kruger pick on Junnie's side at this point. Worked out for him last game somehow. Ban-wise, what do you care about if you're Junnie? Tree Sage could be obnoxious if you want to deploy one of these. Himiko... yeah, you don't have a clean answer to the Himiko, especially with the Juglar here. So that makes sense. T-Jess threatens out the Juglar. That makes sense. We do see the Illustrial. I mean, this is a very good Illustrial map. She's going to be relevant here. There are plenty of picks that Leumas has available, though, that don't care too much about the Illustrial. Yulia doesn't care. Tree Sage doesn't care. Tree Sage will actually counter the Illustrial, and we will see Tree Sage for that exact purpose. Also buffs the dog. So yeah. I would have expected a Tree Sage ban before that Illustrial got picked. I'm a little bit surprised to see it now. It feels a little bit early against Leumas's box. There's so much that's pretty good against it. See Himiko come out. Himiko's always annoying, I suppose, but I don't know if she's fantastic against what's left here. She's not very good against what's already on the board for Leumas, and she's not great against anything in the back either. Kruger stacking up the units that get buffed by this Tree Sage. And we'll see a Mariel to finish out Junnie's side. Yep, leaving the Wheeler Zerida because Illustrial does hard counter the Zerida. Though with Tree Sage on the field, the Zerida's not in as terrible of shape as she would be otherwise. We'll see if Leumas is an absolute madman running Demon Zerida as well. The Zerida also has a lot of freedom in her skill slots, since Tree Sage will buff. Tree Sage provides buff for her as well as the rest of the team. This Tree Sage is actually a very, very useful pick here. Buffs on Junnie's side are pretty much non-existent. I would expect to see a mass attack on the flow to address the fact that he doesn't have any buff coverage. But mass attack doesn't really help Mariel. Mariel needs 3 turns of buff. Alright, what have we got? No mass attack. Origins buff for the Illustrial. Himiko doesn't really need a buff. She can steal it, I suppose. And again, Mariel doesn't really do well with mass attack anyways. Origins buff on the Jugor, though. It's rough to give up B-Shock just for a single other unit. Definitely feels bad. Actually, Dark Reaper on the Kruger. Okay. And we see Zerida brings Bloodbath and Backstab. So opting for Bloodbath over like a second attack skill. I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like second Killing Blow or even just Shadow Raid would have been really, really nice for the Zerida to have. This is a very bulky Zerida. 640 defense is a lot. Although the health suffers for it. I imagine we see Tree Sage buff here. Yep, there it is. Ah, that's why the defense was so high. She had a defense buff from this Tenyo's. 1334 means that this should be Stinger. It's either a very high Stinger or a very low EMB, but I imagine it'd be Stinger. The one downside of using spectator mode is we have very little way of actually checking the celestial range outside of guessing. It should be somewhere around here that she can move to. And then +3. So it looks like the Tree Sage is basically just outside of her range right now. Ooh, moves far forward. He does have turn priority, so he can potentially dash in, try and pick off the Zerida, pick off the Kruger. Just have to watch out for Act again off of low here. Actually, I didn't even think about it, but Kruger's actually very, very well countered by Illustrial, because if you put Evil on someone, then you just set up Emerald Crusher for the Illustrial. Never even thought of that. Alrighty, Illustrial, are you doing something here, or is it Himiko first? Or it's just move up and guard. That works too. But move up and guard means that Tree Sage gets to act first, which means that now Illustrial's got her mobility pretty heavily crippled. That Tree Sage also did a lot of damage. Very nice damage on the Himiko. Mario's gonna move and just heal up the Himiko, heal up the Illustrial. Zerida's gonna take what terrain she can. She still doesn't have... The Zerida's still getting her mobility checked pretty heavily by the Himiko. So she can't push up as hard as she might want. But that's a pretty good position. Yeah, that's good enough to hit the Mariel. Though he is vulnerable to just Himiko pushing the Zerida away. And then the Zerida's not really doing anything. There's not a second attack skill, so she's just going to be kind of useless next turn. Or rather, the turn after next, I suppose. The other thing to watch out for is Himiko can run in here and delete a bunch of these Tree Sage tiles. And then Illustrial's movement suddenly opens up again, and then maybe Illustrial can pick off this Zerida. Though, she'd have to get down to here, it looks like. So there's going to be Himiko moves up. The clearing out tiles is nice. Yep, clock. So the Illustrial needs to find a way to get down to this tile if she wants to snipe Zerida. But Himiko there should actually just block the Zerida completely. We could see Kruger shield and send the Himiko home though. Or we could see a jump. That shuts down the Illustrial again. Very little chance that Illustrial gets this mobility, gets this water mobility cleared by the flow. It's very likely Illustrial just can't do anything at this point. Which means that Zerida's going to get some free picks somewhere. There's a 3C, and yep, it does not clear water mobility. Yep, clocks again. You can throw one more skill onto the Illustrial to try and get rid of it. But nah, it's going to be act again on the Mariel. That's a much better move. Mariel can knock this Jugler away and then go for one of these. So that should be a dead Zerida. Unless Mariel somehow fails to kill, but I don't see how that would happen. Yeah, it's too late for Leumas to act again at this point. His Zerida is just kind of dead. Walk bot with Kruger. Ah, yeah, if you put Kruger here. The Mariel would probably fail to kill Kruger as well. Between Warlocks and Shield. I do believe... Well, no, Mariel can reach. Because she goes here, 1, 2, hits here, and then gets 6 movement. So she can go straight in, she can go down. There was no way to protect this Zerida. Goodbye, Jugler. Hello, Zerida. He was hoping to pick up the kill on Himiko with that Kruger, but he came up just a little bit shy. It was like only a few hundred. They just barely couldn't make it, and Zerida drops. Yeah, the only way for Loomis to do anything there was as soon as he bloodthirsted his Zerida, he had one action where he could have act again there. I think. Yeah, because he had time to jump. So when he jumped, if he had act against Zerida, then Zerida would have been able to get something done. Himiko is still just barely kicking. And there's no AoEs left to hit this Himiko. That was the last one. Because this Kruger brought Dark Reaper. Mariel can go after this Flow if she wants. Though it's Swordsmith Flow, she absolutely... No, it's Mixed Troops versus Twilight, so she would hit. Kruger, Dark Reaper, the Illustral actually does kill. There's something you don't see every day. But this Himiko is still unanswerable. Kruger has to throw out Evil Overwhelming and then another AoE before he can hit this Himiko, but Himiko's just going to heal up in the meantime. She has a regen buff. There's a Flow sitting back here. There's a Jugler from Junnie that's going to get hit by things that'll heal up. I don't think this Himiko's dying anytime soon. Johnny's going to go ahead and lock the Jugler of Leumas. He needs to be a little careful about doing this though, because there is a B-Shock here that he doesn't have. So we could see like Tree Sage attacks the Jugler, does a bunch of damage to the lobsters, heals up the Jugler, and then B-Shock can make something happen. Blow can just do Soldier Heal though, and then if lobsters are there at all, the Jugler's not going to die to B-Shock, so it should be fine. Rush on the Tree Sage. Why? Don't you just want to go here? Where are you going? I guess Tree Sage could also just kill the Mariel instead. And when the Mariel goes down... Oh no, Mariel gets to run away though. If he had been able to kill this Mariel, then suddenly his Loomis's Jugler is actually very, very safe. That was a questionable B-Shock. Suppose he just heals right back up. It's to lock down enemy Jugler. So he can hit this Mariel now. Yeah, he can hit the Mariel now. Is she above? Highlands aren't above 80%, so they are a little bit squishier. This could kill. He definitely would have been better served hitting the Mariel earlier. Yeah, it doesn't kill. There's also no attack buff here because it got stolen by Himiko. He does get turn priority though. So he can hit the Mariel again with turn priority, and that should kill. And at that point, this Jugler's just kind of sitting pretty. Himiko's not going to kill you. Jugler doesn't have B-Shock. He's not going to kill you. Flow's not going to kill you. Right, Himiko does negative damage here. Yes, this should be a dead Mariel. And I think Leumas wins from here. The only way that Junnie wins at this point is if he can somehow trap multiple units in the fog, but there's a lot of turns before he can do that. And in the meantime, his Jugler is getting hit by Tree Sage and Kruger. Himiko has 3C available. It did clock. She has not used this yet. So there's the 3C. Maybe hoping to stop the flow from getting in. And we do see movement -3, so this flow is stuck over here. It doesn't dispel the movement -3 either. Act again, Tree Sage. That's probably enough to kill this flow, though. No, Tree Sage can't reach. Yes, he can. The B-Shock's going to go down. So Tree Sage is going to hit this flow. Yeah, and that should kill her, and then Junnie's really screwed. Maybe he fails. Oh my gosh, Himiko stole a guard. Himiko stole the magic guard at the exact correct moment. You've got to be kidding me. Oh my gosh, the flow dies as well. Wow. How pissed you have to be if you're Leumas there. That was so free. Holy crap. Silence just to add insult to injury. He was hoping for a Tenyo's Breeze. That's why he moved Tree Sage here. The only way this flow lived was Tenyo's Breeze. And he did not get it. What a game. And once again, Junnie has to figure out a way to just stall this game out still. So it's still not free. Yeah, he is able to heal his Tree Sage with the flow as her with her dying action. Yeah, Junnie still has to figure out, how to survive until fog closes all the way in, and then also how to block Leumas out of the fog entirely. And Himiko takes the hit for Jugler. You don't see that every day. Oh, and goodbye, guard. Thanks, Kruger, for dispelling the guard so Himiko doesn't take the hit anymore. Kruger still hasn't tried to reset Evil Overwhelming either. There's no magic guard on this Jugler, so this Himiko's actually in a lot of danger. Alright, she gets healed here, but there's both the remaining damage on Loomis' side is magic. So I don't think this Himiko is actually going to last much longer. I think she can get an attack off into the Jugler, steal some more things, be a little bit more annoying, and then she's just going to die. He could have healed soldiers, but it really wouldn't have mattered. Himiko is still very, very dead to this double hit. There's nothing that he can do about this double hit coming in. And then the same thing's going to happen to his flow next turn. I think Junnie might still end up losing this game. I'm fairly confident he will, because he's just not going to be able to deal with the double mages. Yeah, he can run away. But again, Junnie's way to win this game is to hold center and lock Loomis out. But if he's running away, then he's giving up those tiles, and then he's going to get locked out. Alright, his Flow and his Himiko are now at risk of dying. They can keep Flow alive with the Soldier heal. Himiko's at risk, though. There is no Dark Reaper anymore, so Himiko might be able to take this. Damage taken down means she can. There's the Kruger debuffs, though. Oh boy, Tenyo's Breeze. So it looks like everyone's going to go hang out in the center now. Imagine we could see Tree Sage go here to block Jugler. Ooh, no, Tree Sage is going to push him out. That's an option too. Yikes. Because this can be Flow trapped now. Yeah. So he's not dead this turn, at least. But Flow and Himiko are competing for this spot. Because Tree Sage is going to move here and block him. Jugler can come down and someone can come above him. But also Himiko's just going to die. That's the other thing. Well, no, Himiko has her talent back up, so Himiko's fine. So as long as Flo heals herself, she won't go down immediately. Damage is favoring Loomis, though, and there's not really anything that Junnie can do about that. Junnie's not going to win this game on damage. Himiko's skills are coming back soon. That is a way to win. Dark Reaper kills the Flow, though. That should be a death sentence for Junnie. Yeah, the Flow needed to heal herself because Himiko's talent was back, so Himiko was actually safe-ish. I won't say safe because that's probably not true, but safer. See, only movement -1. This needed to be -3 for Junnie to have any chance. -1 isn't enough. -2 here is nice. -3 there, but there's a Tenyo's Breeze canceling out the -3. Himiko should have push available at this point. It should be off cooldown again. But who are you pushing and where are you pushing them and where are you pushing from? Push into the fog, yes, but where are you pushing from? He did steal a breeze, so he can come like here. He can push Kruger into the fog. So there we go. That kills Kruger. Excuse me. So that does kill Kruger, right? That's one. But you can't get rid of either of these. There was nowhere that you could push either of these. Even with Clock. No, he did get a -3 mobility. That came off of ninjutsu is where that -3 came from. This Jugler's just gonna die now. He got caught out of water with a beast shock. So he's just dead to Tree Sage at this point. And his water's gone again. Silence the Himiko as well. Yep, that is GG. It will be Leumas taking it 2-1. Nice thorns. Johnny's gonna play it out to the bitter end, but he doesn't have much longer left in him. What do we got? One more turn, maybe two. Thorns again. Not quite. Go get him, Jugler. It's enough. Troops are enough. That works too. There we go. And there we go. 2-1. BM jump right at the end. Alright. Well, that is it for this game.